The story begins with an old race named Herby, which was the best race of its time, and it had not lost any competition till date. Herby and his owner used to reach many difficult places together easily, but one day, Herby had a very dangerous accident, after which he started losing every competition continuously. Finally, his owner decided to send him to the junkyard. That day, Herby met Dave, the owner of the junkyard, but Herby did not like him at all. Then the truck driver told Dave not to trouble Herby because this vehicle does not tolerate any insult. When Dave went to take Herby out of the truck, Herby spilled petrol on his shoes. The driver pushed Herby from behind, and Dave started pulling him with chains. At first, Herby tried his best not to move forward, but suddenly he saw a way out, so he ran away, seeing the opportunity. But during this time, his tires got punctured by getting stuck in the iron nails. Now Herby had to stay there with the rest of the junk vehicles, even though he did not want to. He knew that after a few days, he too would be crushed to death. Well, a few weeks after this, we see a girl named Maggie Payton who reached her graduation on a skateboard. Her father was very happy with her because Maggie was the first girl in her family to complete her graduation. It seems to be a very studious family. Maggie's father, Ray, was a race car coach, and he invited Maggie to watch her brother, Ray Jr.'s race. When both of them reached there, they met Ray Jr.'s spouse, Sally. But like always, this time too, Ray Jr. had an accident while driving the car. Actually, Ray Jr. was preparing for a professional racing competition, but the problem was that he did not have the skill of racing. While later, when Maggie came home, she saw the paintings on the wall, seeing which she remembered her grandfather, who was the best racer of his time. Inspired by him, Maggie also started racing at the age of 15. She also wanted to make a name in the world of racing like her grandfather. But one day, Maggie had an accident, and then everything changed, after which her father clearly refused her to do racing. Well, now her father started saying that tomorrow morning he will go to buy Maggie's graduation gift. The next morning, Maggie and Ray reached the junkyard so that Maggie could choose the car of her choice. Then Herby saw Maggie, and he decided that he wanted to go to Maggie's house with Maggie. Herby tried to go to Maggie, but due to the absence of a rear tire, he was not able to move. At the same time, Herby was lifted to be crushed. To save himself, Herby started blowing the horn loudly so that Maggie could see him. But Maggie liked one of Nisha's cars standing in front of Herby. Now she was about to finalize the deal with Dave when at the last moment, Herby got freed from the crane and fell on Nisha, due to which the car got shattered. Finally, Maggie had no other option, so she decided to buy Herby. After bringing Herby home, Ray repaired it a little and told Maggie that he would give it to Kevin. When Maggie sat inside Herby, a letter came out from the dashboard, which was from Herby's old owner. It was written in it to take good care of Herby. But as soon as Maggie started the car started moving out of control on its own, and Maggie got very scared. She went straight from there to Kevin's garage. Today, Maggie was meeting her school friend, Kevin, after many years. Kevin loved Maggie since school days, but he could never express his feelings. Well, he said that he would repair Herby properly, but for this, she would have to take Herby for a test drive. When Maggie and Kevin went for the drive, Herby was emitting a lot of smoke on the road. Troubled by this, Maggie decided to return it, but Herby would never let this happen. It lifted its front tires and went out of Maggie's control and started moving fast. Now it went straight to a sports car museum where Maggie met her school classmate, Trip. Trip was the next cup champion, so a crowd gathered around to see him. Here, Herby started honking repeatedly, so Maggie opened his hood to stop the horn, but at the same time, Herby threw petrol on her and ruined her clothes. But then Kevin found a racing suit and helmet in the trunk, so Maggie wore that suit. When Trip saw Maggie's car, he laughed at its dilapidated condition and told Maggie to leave this car back at the circus. Hearing this, Herby got angry and he scratched Trip's car with his mirror. Seeing this, Trip became furious with anger, so the people present there said that they should settle the matter by having a race. Maggie got out of the car and tried to apologize to Trip, but Herby himself closed all the windows and doors and went straight to the track. Soon, Herby started his gears, and the race started. Maggie tried to control Herby, but Herby had gone out of control. Now, Herby reached Trip's car with his old parts, so Trip made a move to remove him from the track by hitting him. At that time, Maggie also got angry and decided to beat Trip. Instead of controlling Herby, he decided to support him, and now both of them together reached Trip. Trip once again tried to hit him, but this time Herbie turned himself very cleanly, seeing which Trip was also stunned. Not when both of them were close to the finish line, Herbie climbed on the safety bar on the side and won the race in a few moments. Finally, after the race was over, Trip was very angry because he had lost to a junk car. Well, later Maggie went to the garage and told Kevin that this race was not won by him, but by Herbie himself. But Kevin did not pay much attention to her words and congratulated her for the victory. The biggest thing was that Maggie had defeated the champion of the next cup in a 1963 car. Then, the next morning, Maggie saw that her father and brother were fighting. Actually, due to the poor performance of Ray Jr., another sponsor went out of their hands. At that time, Sally came to their house in her yellow Beetle car, and hubby fell in love with her as soon as he saw her. When Sally showed Ray the video of yesterday's race, Ray was surprised to see that Maggie won the race with this old car, but he was very angry that Maggie participated in the race despite his refusal. Then Maggie told him to calm him down, that the car was not being driven by her, but by her friend Max. Now Maggie decided that she would participate in the race in Max's name. On the other hand, Trip was very disappointed at his defeat. His manager Larry tried to convince him that a normal race does not matter, but this time the matter had come to Trip's ego. That's why he said that he wanted to race again. He asked his team to organize a 2-day race competition because he knew that Max, i.e. Maggie, would definitely come for the race. On the other hand, when Maggie reached Kevin's garage, Kevin showed her his new project, according to which he was going to transform Maggie into a new race car. But Maggie said that now she cannot participate in the race because years ago, when she had an accident, she had promised her father that she would never race. Herbie saw an advertisement in the newspaper in which the winner of the racing competition was going to get a prize of $100. As soon as Maggie sat in the car, Herbie shook his hood, due to which the newspaper flew straight on the windshield. When Maggie saw that the winner of the race would get a full $100, she thought that this money would cover her expenses of going to New York. Then Kevin said that if Maggie agreed to participate in this race, he would repair hubby for free, and then if she won, both of them would divide the prize equally. Although Maggie was still scared, she still agreed to participate in the race. After this, both of them together started making hubby a race car. Then, after washing Herbie, they changed some of its parts. During this time, Kevin also made a sunroof in Herbie. On the other hand, Trip and his friend were trying to solve the mystery of the crashed Herbie. Trip wanted to know what was in the hood of this car, what engine was kept inside it, that he defeated Trip's supercar that night. Maggie heard Ray and Sally talking. Sally said that she got a rumor that the last investor was also going to go out of their hands. Hearing this, Maggie decided to win the race at any cost and get the prize. Finally, the new day of the race arrived, and Trip was surprised to see Herbie's new amazing look. He asked Maggie how she met Max. Maggie tried to engage him in a conversation. At the same time, Kevin came there and handled the matter. Soon, the first round of the race started, in which many cars were participating, but only one would win. Then it was announced that the racer who wins today will race with Trip's car tomorrow, and if he defeats Trip as well, he will get $100 as a prize. After this, the race started, and finally, Herbie won the race by defeating everyone with his tremendous strength. Now he will compete with Trip's car tomorrow. In the evening, Trip was watching the video of today's race, and he saw that red hair was visible from Max's helmet, and he understood that Max is none other than Maggie. On the other hand, Herbie got scared once again on seeing the yellow Beetle. When Maggie saw him, she understood that Herbie has a mind of his own, and she has to adopt it. Then Kevin gave Maggie a gift of a new car as a good luck gift. Now they were about to kiss each other when Trip turned on the headlight from behind and came to them, spoiling the whole moment. He told Kevin that he wanted to talk to Maggie alone. After Kevin left, Trip asked Maggie why she doesn't race in her own car. Trip said that he himself started racing after getting inspired by Maggie's grandfather, after which he asked Maggie if she wants to try out a real race. He gave the keys of his car to Maggie, and Maggie became very happy. Herbie was very jealous seeing this because Maggie was leaving him and sitting in another car. As soon as Maggie went for a drive in the supercar, Trip saw the opportunity and started checking Herbie's engine. But Herbie also taught him a lesson by by sprinkling petrol on his face and hitting him on the head with the hood. Now Trip got angry and started checking Herbie's engine. I came and took out a hammer from my box and started hitting my hubby hard, but Herbie made his body so strong that he did not even get a scratch. As soon as Trip turned to the other side, Herbie started teasing him by making a strange face. In a few moments, Maggie returned from the drive and said that it was the best drive of her life. Then Trip made a deal with her and said that the winner of the race, to be held tomorrow, would get $100 along with the car of the loser. At first, Maggie was hesitating, but then she thought of her father's condition and she immediately agreed to the bet. She knew that Trip's car was very expensive, and by selling it, she could help her father. Also, she was sure that she would definitely win the race with Herbie. That's why she accepted the bet. But when Herbie understood that Maggie had placed a bet on him, he felt very sad. Well, the next morning, when Maggie opened her eyes, she saw that her friend Charisma was in the kitchen. Charisma said that they should leave for New York earlier, but Maggie told her that today she had to go for the race competition. She also told Charisma that she had to leave for the race competition. He asked her to come with him. Then both of them reached Kevin's garage, where Kevin told them that Herbie was behaving in a strange way. He asked Maggie to talk to the car, but when Maggie angrily told Herbie that he would have to obey her orders, Herbie became more angry. Then the time for the race came, and Herbie and Trip's car were ready for the race together. As soon as the race started, Herbie started moving fast, but Trip's car was overtaking him again and again. As soon as they were about to reach the finish line, Herbie applied the brakes at the last moment and lost the race intentionally. At the same time, Maggie came out of the car, and Trip asked her to show her real face in front of everyone. As soon as she took off her helmet, everyone was surprised to see her. Then her father Ray also saw her. Maggie was very angry because of losing to Herbie, so Kevin calmed her down and asked her to leave from there with Herbie. Then Trip came in front and told her about the new condition. After this, he took possession of Herbie. On this, Kevin left from there in anger, and then Ray saw Maggie. He was very disappointed with Maggie because Maggie had lied to him. Maggie tried to convince her father, but he was not ready to listen to anything. Troubled by all this, Maggie decided to go to New York with Charisma today itself, but Charisma explained to her that she should not waste her racing skills like this. Finally, Maggie realized this and went to take her car back from Trip, but Trip told that his friend crashed Herbie and had gone for a drive. But the truth was that she was stuck in a monster truck competition where she was going to be badly eliminated. As soon as the show started, many heavy vehicles started hitting Herbie together. Seeing this, Maggie immediately ran to help him, but the security guards blocked her way. Then she went to the owner of the place and said that she wanted to buy her car back. Then the old man said that if this car comes back in one piece, then take it for free from my side. At the same time, a monster truck came there and was ready to break Herbie into pieces. During this time, Charisma distracted the attention of the security guard, and Maggie, seeing the opportunity, came down to the ground. Now she had to reach Herbie by escaping from these heavy vehicles. As soon as Herbie saw Maggie, he became very happy, and he saw a ray of hope. But then suddenly, the monster truck was about to fall on her. But then at the last moment, Herbie came over Maggie and made her sit inside the sunroof, and in this way, her life was saved. After this, he threw Crash out of the driver's seat, and then Maggie and Herbie together started trying to get out of here. Herbie was escaping from every vehicle coming in front of him, but then the monster truck came from behind to crush him. Now Herbie climbed on another vehicle and jumped in the air and landed directly on the monster truck. After defeating all the vehicles, Maggie took Herbie directly to Kevin's workshop. When he saw this condition of Herbie, he got very scared, but still, he started repairing him. Then the next day, both of them went to see Ray Jr.'s race, but this time also, he met with an accident and had to be taken to the hospital. When he was taken to the hospital, it was found that he was having trouble seeing with his left eye. The doctor then told him that he would never be able to take part in the race on Sunday. Then Ray Jr. asked his father to let Maggie take part in the race in his place, but Ray flatly refused. Then Maggie said that it was her childhood dream to become a racer. She asked her father why he did not let her take part in the race, just because of one accident. Whereas, why did he not stop her brother despite him having had so many accidents? Then Ray emotionally said that you look exactly like your mother. I have already lost her once and do not want to lose her again. On the other hand, Kevin needed some spare parts to repair Herbie, but his supplier said that he will not get new parts until he settles the old dues. At that time, Ray Jr. came there and asked his sister to participate in the NAS competition in his place, but Maggie said that she will participate in the race only with Herbie. Then her brother called his entire team there to repair Herbie, and in a short time, all of them together made Herbie shine like new. After this, they painted Herbie and gave him a new look. After this, when Tripp reached the stadium for the NAS competition on Sunday, he was surprised to see Herbie there. He asked Crash why Herbie was not cut into pieces, despite his saying so. Then Larry told Tripp that he has got a contract for a new ad, but at this time, all this did not matter to Tripp. On the other hand, before the race, Maggie told Herbie that she had got a contract for a new ad, but at that time, all this did not matter. After this, they decided to work together and entered the field together. Yes, everyone's eyes were on them. At the same time, Ray saw Maggie on TV, and he got very nervous because he did not want Maggie to put her life in danger. On the track, all the racers changed their steering wheels, and then everyone took a test drive for warm-up. After this, as soon as the competition started, everyone's car moved ahead very fast, but Herbie and Maggie were left far behind. But soon, they also started moving fast. Meanwhile, Ray also decided to go straight to the stadium and watch his daughter racing. Tripp was leading in the race, but in a short while, Herbie also reached close to him. But then, suddenly, the other cars surrounded them, so Maggie was not getting a place to go ahead. But then, Maggie heard her father's voice, and he said that Maggie has full ability to win this race. Hearing his words, Maggie got filled with enthusiasm and somehow came out of the circle of cars. But now the problem was that petrol was leaking from Herbie's tank, and she had to go ahead. He cannot win the race without fixing it. After this, during the pit stop, the mechanics fixed the tank leak, but now Herbie's condition was such that if he gets hit even once, he will not be able to complete the race. After this, the race started again, and this time, he was next to Tripp. Now both the cars were running together, and they were just a little away from victory. Tripp tried to hit Herbie, and during this, the sticker of Herbie's tank came off. After this, as soon as Tripp tried to hit him again, Maggie applied the brakes at the right time, due to which Tripp's car directly hit the wall. But Herbie climbed the fence on the side and went ahead, doing dangerous stunts, and went ahead of all the cars. Finally, he won the race, and with this, Maggie became the first female winner of the NES Championship. She celebrated this victory with her family and friends, and here Tripp was furious and saying that this car is haunted. This car is a living car. She does not know how to drive it. Finally, after waiting for many years, Kevin finally kissed Maggie, and then Maggie kissed him. He thanked him for his help. After a few weeks, we see that Ray asked Herbie to return home early because a big race was going to be held after a few days. Meanwhile, Herbie went on a drive with his girlfriend Beetle at night. If you liked the video, then like it and subscribe to the channel. See you in the next video.